First of all, I just want to express, my great, thanks and appreciation to the Institute of Cultural Diplomacy in Berlin for giving me this opportunity to participate in the symposium, and I want to personally express my gratitude for the opportunity to be here in the French National Assembly. It's truly a great honor. France is a country of a great, rich history, a country that has strong values, one that played a significant role in instilling the importance of human rights and values worldwide. We are here today to discuss the cultural diplomacy in the Francophone region and its impact, whether it's be positive or negative, that might have an influence on the cultural understanding and in aid in bridging different cultures. Bridging different culture is the key point here. We are facing a global crisis which affects humans all over the world. And cultural growth and understanding is essential to overcome this cultural crisis before us. Certainly, the Francophonie plays a very positive role, but there is always room for improvement in anything in life, and there is certainly a room for growth and improvement here. There is a definite deficiency in the cultural communications that pertains not only to the Francophonie region, but also to the world. I believe the cultural diplomacy needs to be closely examined in order to be effective and help us all have a better understanding of the human cultures and the concept of the cultural diversity. We need to take action as organization, as individual, to fill this void and to bridge this gap, to introduce tolerance, acceptance, and knowledge of varying cultures or different cultures. I do not want to spend the time to explain the cultural diplomacy or the soft power, as some like to call it. We are here to discuss and evaluate cultural communication to identify source of the problems, to know the weakness in our society, and to hopefully achieve and create an effective channels of communication between the different cultures. We are all aware of the complications that surround us today. We live in the state of constant cultural conflict and clashes as a result of the miscommunications. And all of us share the responsibility of what's going on in the world today. We thought by the end of the Cold War and the fall of the Berlin Wall that we as a human being would come together, that we would be more willing to understand our differences, that we would be more tolerant of those differences. But here we are, more than 20 years later, yet not much has changed in the way of cultural acceptance and tolerance. The question is, in this time frame, what have we learned? How have we grown, and how can we continue to grow? The Berlin Wall may have come down, but we have a bigger wall growing before us. We are unknowingly building a cultural wall that completely blocks cultural communication and growth. I believe, is more damaging to us as a human being. Today, we're not facing between different cultures, but we face conflict within the cultures themselves. Identity conflict is a major problem that affect us as a whole. Fixing the problems, integrating cultures, unifying people regardless of what umbrella they are under is essential to move in the right direction and to grow as a culture, a nation, and a world. Currently, cultural diplomacy targets the interests of each individual country. Each country designs its strategy to target their own interests and for their own economic growth. There is no sense of unity or a set of common values, and that is where the problem lies. What we need to do is to create a platform that addresses a common interest, one that protects the interests of our world and preserve our human heritage. Another critical factor in this situation is the digital media, which we all know play a significant role in the creating more conflict. We all know that media is owned by private firms that are primarily profit-driven and have absolutely no regard for the consequences and no sense of a moral compass. My suggestion is that the government work with these private organizations, find some sort of middle ground where we can both benefit and grow as a people. This benefits us all in the end. Lastly, I believe that we need to find partners in these battles, not only government, but also civil organizations, which I believe are more effective. We need to have person-to-person communication, an informal channel that bridge the cultural divide. At this time, to do less damage and work together as unit to move forward. Let's break cultural barriers and build bridges that unite all of us as a member of the human race. Here is to make a difference and making this world as a better place for further generation, a world of tolerance, acceptance, and understanding, and thank you.